So I recently read the Long Halloween comics from Batman, DC, because I wanted to do a Marvel and versus DC video, so I read some of the comics and I was thinking, yeah, let's do a review of this. Okay, so starting with the obvious one, this is like how we normally start these videos, is starting with the positives, and I think one of the main positives that makes this just so fantastically and so well done is the whole overarching story and the plot lines that are brilliantly developed, because if you think about it, because with Harvey Dent's plot line, as we see him become Two-Face and as we see him become that, and we see that throughout this overarching story, and there's other plot lines such as that we see the Roman family as they're getting their family members are getting killed one by one, and we just see all that horrible stuff happen, and then we see their overarching plotline get developed as well. The Joker appears in this in a couple times. I'm not a big fan of the look or anything. I don't know. I was kind of weird, very Crimson Chin-like, to be honest, but yeah, it's still not the worst thing in the world, I would say. I also like the hints about their villains and such, we get a hint of them, and then it all kind of comes together in the final act of the whole series. And the fact that they take place on holidays and we see it on Father's Day, it makes sense that Bruce Wayne would feel this broken, would feel this emotional, because, well, it's Father's Day and his parents are dead, and that makes sense, right? It's not like that really as much on Mother's Day, but I guess he was more of a father's boy, I guess. I don't know. That's just how they describe it in the thing in the comic book. And I think with this, it's just they have these we get to see Batman as a detective. We see that fully throughout this. We see him become this detective, and we see him solving these mysteries and this whole crime throughout the entire thing, and I think that's what makes this so brilliant and so well done, and the fact that they're able to. And the thing is, pretty much every comic book pretty much has a specific purpose of what it is. There's a couple ones that feel like filler, but for the most part, they all have these plot lines that are connected, and then they're all developed throughout the third act of the final comic. And I think that's just what works so brilliant and so fascinatingly amazing about this comic book. And when we see that Batman is wrong, and the way that would react him, and just how he feels bad that he accused Harvey Dent, and then we see him go into madness, and in the comic book, as the comic book goes on, I just love that. It's such a brilliantly made, brilliantly crafted comic book, and there's so many great things about it. Okay, now moving on to the negatives. I think one of the flaws that I have with these is the Joker design once again, and another thing is, spoiler, obviously these are spoilers, I'll put that in the title of the video, but yeah, for it's when we get the reveal of the killer, it doesn't make sense. They don't really put it together, and they don't really explain it well enough for us to understand how this happened, and how I think his name's Albert Falcon or something, how he was the killer, and that's what happened. I don't understand that really specifically, so yeah, I just don't get that personally. Maybe I'm the only one. I'm probably the only one that has even read this comic that watches my videos, to be honest. But yeah, it just doesn't make sense. They don't add it up. Sometimes they give us exposition, which they could easily just show us with panels, but they just don't. They just explain it, which I don't think is a really good tactic unless you need to explain it, and it's fine. Sometimes it can be executed decently, but here it wasn't. So yeah, guys, that is the video. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.